My episode of Unfiltered Wrestling, as by ever, been joined by Tim. Hi, Tim. How you doing, mate?
I'm actually starting to feel better, although you don't sound so great.
No, I think you passed it on to me, mate, so thanks for that.
You're welcome.
By ever, we're here to recap this week's going on in WWE, and it's been quite a weird week. We've had injuries at PLEs, we've had the Women's Evolution that seemed to continue on Raw, we've had WCW style TV. So where do we want to start?
Let's start out following from Evolution, and I think that's probably the best way to go with that. And Raw's coverage. Firstly, well done, Naomi. She deserves a lot of praise. She brought what was one of the best matches on the night to the next level with the cash-in. And when she came out on Raw, she was cheered quite a lot.
I think, people were surprised with the direction she went, as in which belt she went for. But I think we've all been saying for weeks now she deserves to be champion.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The crowd shouted, "You deserve it." And she's trying to play it off as the heel. But you could see that it was emotionally with her. So, yeah, she deserves it. It caught me off guard because I didn't think she'd go to Raw. I was convinced we were going to stay on the SmackDown program. And it certainly made it interesting. Yes, we've got another triple threat. But as I said on Raw Ramblings, I do worry by WWE keep going to the well with EO and Rhea that we're just going to burn them both out.
But it's what, 2 weeks to SummerSlam, so hopefully this will be the be-all and end-all of that feud, and then we can move on.
Yeah, but my question is, where do they both go after this? Both of them can't win the belt. I'd be surprised if either of them win the belt. So what do they do next?
A good point. But as we're noticing for some reason, and I'm still sort of convinced by January we're going back to one belts for both shows, we are having a lot of cross-branding matches. So maybe it's just going to be a free-for-all.
Yeah, I've seen the cross-branding. I don't like it. Not without a story behind it. It happened both on Raw and SmackDown, especially with the women. That seems to be where we're going. But I don't think we're going to go down to one belt. I honestly believe we're going to have a belt on each. I don't mind being wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen somehow.
I think of Raw generally with the women, because about 75% of the Raw show was women matches. Carrying on from like Evolution, did you think it was a good Raw still to do it like that?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed Raw, although there was a lot going on, a lot going on. But I enjoyed the women's, to carry that over. That was the right thing to do as far as I'm concerned. All right, yes, the main event was still the men's, but as you said, the women got 65, 75% of the show. So that made sense to me, especially after the PLE. And they did such a great job of it.
I totally agree. And staying with the women, obviously on SmackDown, we had the building of Charlotte and Alexa's not friendship. I think these are a great team together. These are definitely going to win the belts at SummerSlam, aren't they?
I don't know whether it's going to be SummerSlam, but they're definitely going to win it at some point. They are really rehabbing Charlotte so much. I like the character interactions between them both. I think they both look like they're having fun. And I think if you're doing a job like wrestling, you want to feel like you're having fun a lot of the time. With Alexa coming out with the pom-poms, I think that was really clever, a really good fun throw. I don't know whether you've seen there was a clip social media of Charlotte and Alexa walking backstage, and Charlotte pays Alexa such a compliment by saying, "You're so good out there. You're so good." So I think they really are enjoying themselves out there.
Yeah, 100%. I can't remember if it was this week or last, but I've also seen another clip floating about on social media that when Alexa joins Charlotte on the aisle, Charlotte gives a little smile like a break of character. So you can tell she's having real fun. And it's nice to see. And like you said last week, I think it's helping Charlotte connect with the fans, because I always have said Charlotte's a great wrestler, but there wasn't that connect. But this sort of connection, I'm loving both females as the characters. So yeah, I think it's really good, and I really hope they do put the belts on them at SummerSlam.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what I'm worried about is the split, because that will happen at some point. WWE has this habit of breaking tag teams up, and whilst that would be a great match, if it's done too quickly, all the work they've done with Charlotte will totally be ruined.
Hopefully they keep this going at least to the end of the year, and maybe do the split up at the Rumble or something, or that could be the start, and then lead on to WrestleMania. Hopefully it's a year-long program. Sticking with Raw as well, obviously with Seth's injury over the weekend, a lot of people are saying it's work, a lot of people say it's a shoot. I don't think we'll get our answer to SummerSlam, but it looked like WWE had to pivot by doing this gauntlet match. I think it was a good pivot, and I think it was quite a good match.
Without a doubt, and I have to say, Bron Breakker looked amazing through it. Whatever WWE, whether they pivoted deliberately or accidentally or whatever way you want to look at it, they pivoted really well. Bron Breakker was amazing. He put the first match with Penta was great. It was the kind of match you'd expect to be, maybe not, well, if you're going to put it on a PLE, you're going to put it near the front of the card just to get the fans going. So I think it was right. I also think it's the right decision to have Bron go as far as he did, just to show how strong he is.
Like the promo before with Gunther, I think it put Gunther in a good light, it showed his good mic skills. And it's sort of, I think the gauntlet match and plus Gunther's work is sort of showing again why Gunther is actually quite a good world champion. Going on, obviously Punk won. Now, what did WWE do? Because they had this storyline where between him and Seth, each of them would stop each other from winning the belts. If this is not a work, they can't have Seth cash in if Punk wins the title at SummerSlam. So are they going to put the title on Punk and then forget about what Seth said? Or are they going to do some shenanigans with Seth's faction? I don't know where they're going if this is an actual injury.
So at the start of it, I was like, oh, this is a bad injury. He looks as bad. As the week's gone on, and the more I've read, yeah, I think it's a work. I think Punk probably beats Gunther and is immediately cashing. And I think if you're honest, if the injury isn't that bad, because he's definitely injured his knee, you can definitely see he's done something. Whether they made it look worse than it is, but if he cashes in at the end of a match and he's still slightly injured, he doesn't need to take very much, and he could win the belt. He's only got to go, Clash in Paris? They could probably move around his schedule, let Punk run the gauntlet to have the rematch either at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or maybe push it to the Rumble. And I think that's where you get the money out of it.
It's a hard one because of either, like we said, it's a slight injury or it's a work and Punk's going to win and then get cashed in on, or you can't have Punk win the belt yet. So Gunther's going to have to win, and maybe their plans. Because the problem we've got, Punk ain't got long left. He's an old guy. He's probably got about another year left in the tank, I reckon. He's quite injury prone. Seth's quite injury prone. These two have to get it on at some point soon. And if this is a proper injury that's going to put Seth out for like half a year or whatever, that time's slipping away.
They've got to have a WrestleMania match. It's got to happen. Whether you, because Seth is genuinely injured, you hold it out to 43, WrestleMania 43. I think you could probably get away with it. I think Punk's probably got 18 months left in him, that being his swan song. But I'm with you. If Seth is genuinely injured, Punk can't win the belt. Whether you do some sort of DQ finish to get both guys over without it looking too bad, or I mean, you could have Gunther cheat, but it's not really in his character to cheat as much. So he can't. The one thing he can't do is he can't beat Punk clean.
And then obviously within that match, that brought back the return But Roman returned. Do you think this was the right night to bring him back, or do you think he was meant to come back at Saturday night's main event, but because of what happened, they had to again pivot?
No, I think this was the right night to bring him back. He's quite clearly going to team with Jey Uso for a tag match against Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed.
No, I've
Without a
got a
doubt.
different theory about this.
Oh, I'm interested.
Right, so going on to SmackDown and the contract signing between Cena and Cody. As I said in the SmackDown shenanigans, why did we have to have this contract signing? Because we knew the match was happening no matter what. That was the stipulation of King of the Ring and obviously Cena's the champ. Now, the interesting point, the last line Cody said, this is going to be a street fight. What is Roman filming? Street Fighter. What is Cody going to be filming in? Street Fighter. Is this a way to plug in the movie? And are we going to have Roman interfere in this street fight match to then set up with the movie? Because we know how WWE and TKO and Netflix like cross-branding and entwining other forms of media. I reckon Roman's going to get involved in this match because it's a street fight, because of the Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, I disagree. I think we're having a street fight match because it'll cover John Cena's lack of movement at the moment. He's struggling with matches. If you put him in a street fight, he doesn't need to do very many wrestling moves. He can hit people with like weapons continuously. Cody can carry the wrestling element of the match. So I think that's the reason we're going to do it. I don't think Roman's going to get involved in that one.
But then why not just put the stipulation as a no DQ match? And part of Cena's character is to cheat. Putting him in a no DQ match or a street fight takes away his side. So the fact that they emphasise on street fight, that's what's making me think that. Because if they wanted to go the way you were saying, they could have just made it a no DQ. It's the same stipulation.
I get that, I really do. But Cody Rhodes is in the new Naked Gun film. I saw him, like, he came up in the trailer earlier.
Yeah.
So he's already filming. He's appeared in other programs before. He did want to be a film star. I'm not surprised he's going to do things like that, but I think it's just more luck than judgment that we're going to a street fight match.
Stay with SmackDown, like we said. The night opened very weirdly with an already car crash and the cops. And like I keep saying, it had a very big WCW feel style to the opening, which put me off a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, it felt really weird. A really weird opening vibe. And yeah, I don't know if I liked it. It's nice to see them doing something different.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a nice time to see him try something different. Yeah, I'm with you. It felt very 1997 WCW. Who did what time? Oh no! I couldn't connect as much. You could see what the storyline was going to be the minute the MFTs were involved. I could see it. You could plot it out. It's like dot to dot to dot. And it was wasted television as well, because it could have led to something at the end of the show rather than in the middle.
And it just seemed like we had that whole crash just so Adam could announce that it's going to be a cage match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, exactly it. Like, just have them do some sort of beat down. I quite like the idea of these general managers filling in for the others. I think that gives us some sort of continuity, because Aldis has turned up on Raw. I'm all right with Pierce turning up on SmackDown and making matches. It's just, yeah, have a brawl, have a big scrap, and then just say, look, cage match.
Yeah. And like I said in the shenanigans as well, it had a very Rikishi style solo to go, I did it for the Rock, I did it for the people.
Yeah.
And what do you think about this Big Jim name for Jimmy Uso? I'm still not connected with that either at the moment.
I don't mind a Big Jim nickname. He's got to sound different from Jay. And the Big Jim, whether it's his name, whether they're using it as like a filler name, I don't really know. But I don't have a problem with it. I've seen worse designs from WWE.
And do you think this is now then making sure, as you said, they're separating from the Uso, so we're not going to see an Uso reunition maybe till next year now? Because I know we said a couple of weeks ago that that could be the route they go down for the rest of this year once Jay lost the belt. But the fact that they've called in Jimmy Uso, Big Jim, and Jay still off, sort of just on the outskirts of the main event picture. So do you think we're not going to get an Usos back together yet?
Yeah, I think we're going to hold fire, and I think that's much better, because what we want is when they do finally connect, like a proper big moment when they join together, the crowd's going to go nuts. They're absolutely going to lose their mind. I will too as well. Yeah, I want to see this.
And staying with the tag teams, we had Andrade and Ray Phoenix become #1 contenders. Thought that was brilliant. I love them as a team. Your favourite type of match, the old multi-man match. It was a cracking match though, weren't it? And I'm glad these guys got the spot.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It was fast-paced from minute one to the finish. Yeah, I know I'm against multi-man matches, but the SmackDown tag team division is probably the only division that you could get away with it, because it is so high levels. I felt that Andrade and Ray Phoenix were the right people to win with the momentum they've had. However, if any of the teams had won, I don't think I'd have been too bothered by it. They all warrant that spot.
But do you think, obviously we've criticised the Wyatt Six, do you think this is going to be a good actual title match with the two different styles? Because the Wyatt Six need to bring their A game against any of the other team in the SmackDown division.
I think it depends on how much we want to give. I mean, whatever happens, to give the belts to the Wyatt Six to then change them that quickly would be a mistake. There is a potential that this match could be really quite good. I am unsure about it because, as we said, we've been highly critical of the Wyatt Six as a group. Their promo as well before the match was a little bit weird. Everybody got to speak in the video this time round. So I don't know. There is part of me that is a little bit concerned, but there's another part of me that thinks maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to pull it out.
Yeah, and another thing coming out of wrestling this week, obviously we've got TNA Slammiversary, and it looks like AJ Styles is going to be making an appearance. I think it was meant to be a surprise, but the head of TNA sort of let it slip when he used the word phenomenal in his tweet, so they've now come out and announced it. How good do you think this is for Slammiversary? Because as we know, AJ is one of the people that helped build TNA.
Best thing ever. Best thing ever. He did have an interview a little while ago saying he would love just one more match in TNA. So I think that will happen. I think that's all dependent on his program with Dominic Mysterio, which again is, as far as I'm concerned, it might be 90 seconds of television, but it is so much must-watch TV because they're so funny together. But going back to Slammiversary, I think this will elevate the company again. You know, we've been talking about the relationship between WWE and TNA benefiting one side more. I think this benefits TNA immensely. AJ Styles is the guy when you think of TNA, or at least I do when I was watching it.
This is a really good move, and this is what I like about cross-branding, being able to work together. I know Vince weren't a fan of it, he shut it down a lot, but the fact that Triple H and Nick Khan are open to this, and like you said, yes, it is elevating TNA, but it's giving the fans what they want, because like you, I think TNA, I think AJ Styles, and it'd be great to see. I'm not a big watcher of TNA, but I'm sure I'm going to find that match somewhere when it does happen.
On top of that, I just wanted to mention a couple of other highlights in Raw. As we've mentioned, the women's division, the 2 out of 3 falls between Becky and Lyra. That was a really good match, really solid. They both looked like that they could go, but I am questioning the finish. I'm not sure Lyra should have beaten Bayley, and apparently, reading the sheets, that was again decided late on. I liked the finish to the match. Let's be clear. The match itself was brilliant. The finishes were great. All right, 2 roll-up pins, a little bit curious, but in a 2 out of 3 falls, I'm all right. That works for me. The concern is the wrong person won. And that is because I wanted to see Bayley and Becky for the Intercontinental title. That's a match I want to watch. I've already seen Becky and Lyra a couple of times. And whilst, as we said, I think the first one was a little bit clunky, they got it together for the second one. So I don't think it'll be a bad match, but it's not as much to me as Becky and Bayley. Again, also worth mentioning, Nikki Bella had her first singles match in years, and she didn't look like she had any ring rust either. So I think, again, where we mentioned at the beginning, the women's division is really starting to feel like we're going somewhere. So I'm really pleased with it. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I see her on her podcast that she does with Brie, and she said, I can't remember if it was at Evolution or Raw, but she went for the rack attack move, and then she said it was like riding a bike, but she then quickly remembered, hang on, this is the injury that nearly ended my career. So I think when you mentioned the Raw Ramblings that she's got a new moveset, I think she's consciously doing that because obviously she's worried about re-injuring the neck. But yeah, like you said, in both Evolution and Raw, she looked like she didn't skip a beat. And I'm glad to have her back in the weights. I know, obviously, with Daniel Bryanson being at AEW, but I hope they can get away bringing Brie back into the fold as well. I think it'd be good to see the Bella twins together, maybe one last time.
Yeah, another mention, and again, this is it. WWE tried to rehab Carmelo Hayes since their Miz thing, but I think they did a really bad job with that. And the Damian Priest, I thought it was just, it was such a disappointment, especially with Aleister Black then coming in. So are we supposed to believe that Aleister Black is now a heel?
Yeah, it's again, as we keep saying, it's weekly live TV, and they're throwing mud at the wall sometimes to see what sticks. And yeah, that didn't stick for me either. Well, it's been I think a mostly good week this week in wrestling. But as usual, Tim, you've got to pick your Tim's top talent of the week. So who we going for?
It's without a doubt Bron Breakker. Like Bron Breakker's both his promo skills and the fact that he carried that gauntlet match for so long. Yeah, for me, no question.
Just on the side note, do you think then if Seth is actually injured, this is quite a good way to elevate Bron because he's not sort of under the shadow of Seth when he was first brought into that faction? So this might be Bron's time to shine.
Yes, but I would be very worried when Seth returns if it's a long-term injury because the story can't be that Bron would let Seth back and take lead. So yes, I think you need to elevate him if it is a long-term injury, but you can almost kiss goodbye to the faction.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. Well, Timo, thanks for your time this week, and we'll see you Tuesday for our question.
Yeah, I'll see you Tuesday. Have a good week.